All right. Hi, guys. My name is Mo Elias. I own a shop in New York called Big Apple Art Gallery and Framing. And today I am interviewing Jim Miller. Jim's got a new book out, and the book is titled The Complete Guide to Direct Contact Overlays DCO. And it's a really good book. And I'm going to I'm going to bring Jim into the screen right now. Jim, hi. How are you?
Hello. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon, Jim. Long time no talk.
Yes.
Jim, Jerry Fig, he's on YouTube. He says hi.
Hi, Jerry.
Yeah, I think is he in Ohio too?
Yes.
He is, right? Yeah, this is great. Hey, Jerry. All right, so Jim, tell me what you're up to. What's been going on? I think last time we met in person was January of this year, correct? In Vegas at the show.
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah. So what's new with you? What have you been doing since?
Since the show?
Yeah.
Well, I work part time in a couple of frame shops just for fun, really, and to help them out. Um, I'm still working a couple of half days a week at one that needs some machinery refurbished. I'm learning a lot about concise V nailers and CTD saws, which are two brands that I never used before I got to this particular shop. But they're good tools. They were abused. They were terribly abused, but we're getting them fixed up. And I'm hanging around and building some frames for them too.
Yeah.
And there are a couple other people that I've worked with, and I'm available. I even went to New Jersey last year, didn't I?
Yeah. Jim, when was that? 2019?
Yes, last year.
Yeah, folks, Jim came in and he helped me out with some projects. You helped me with my Valiani, with my cassis joiner, with my saw. I had a new hire. You helped her understand some basic stuff. I had a life-changing thing with you when you showed me the platform mounts.
Mm-hmm.
That stuff was amazing.
Yeah,
you can't believe how often I use it. It's a daily thing for me now.
well, just between you and me, and
Yeah.
don't tell anybody else, but that's probably the best idea I've ever come up with.
Yeah, yeah. I'm,
That
I'm,
was a
I'm,
game
I'm,
changer.
yeah. I'm telling you, it's no joke. I really enjoyed learning it, and we use it on an almost daily basis.
Yep.
And I've gone as big as probably 30 by 40s using an oversized mat, and it worked out really good.
Yeah, well, that's pretty big. That's
Yeah,
pretty big. Have you come to the
nice.
point? Have you come to the point of prefabricating those and sticking them
Yeah.
under the bench so you can pull one out and use it?
No, I haven't done that yet. No.
Yeah.
I don't.
Next time you have occasion to cut 8.5 by 11s or 8 by 10s, cut half a dozen of them.
Yeah.
And hinge the platforms back in the window mat and stick them under the bench.
Put 'em
And
aside.
the window mats that you want to put on top of them could be anything.
Yeah. That's pretty cool. I tell you that. So that was a life-changing learning event for me. So I appreciate that a lot. Every time I do it, I say Jim Miller's platform mount. I remember you.
Thanks. I appreciate that.
Jim, Margot says good afternoon.
Okay, good.
Good afternoon to you too. So Jim, tell me about this book. We
Well-
talked about this book for a while, and tell me about the
Here it
book.
is.
I'm gonna focus on you. Go ahead.
Guide to direct contact overlays, mounting techniques for picture framing.
Uh-huh.
Here we go. Clear polyester film, fine mesh fabric, and acrylic glazing. Reversible, non-adhesive, and minimally invasive. Now, these techniques are nothing new. There are, like I said, there are three categories. Clear polyester film, Mylar D, has been around forever, and conservators have been building encapsulation mounts with this stuff for years, decades. And I've sort of expanded on the idea and made some adaptations that are described in the book to do other things with it. It's a very versatile material, but that's one category of direct contact overlays. Next, we have fine mesh fabrics, which are like this. This is crepe line, and this is their yellow crepe line. I wanted to show you this instead of the white because the white just might not show up very well.
Uh-huh.
But it's very sheer, and as you can see here, it it shows very clearly what's under the fabric. See?
Yeah.
There you
Yeah.
go.
I see it.
Like there. And this would be useful for something like a very fragile old sampler.
Yeah.
Or a textile. It works great on textiles because that very fine mesh silk organdy disappears.
Jim, so can I do this on we do a lot of silk scarves, and we do a running stitch all around. So can I do this on a silk scarf?
Well, absolutely. And I've done this on a couple of silk scarves, especially old ones.
Yeah.
The silk scarves are very susceptible to deterioration from exposure to light.
Okay.
Silk is not tolerant of visible or invisible radiation. UV is very damaging, and visible light is damaging to silk as well. And it gets really fragile. I've framed a few scarves that they couldn't be stitched because if you try to stitch even around the perimeter where the hem is, the weave would just shatter. And some of them have been stored for a long time and folded and creased, and you can't get the creases out. You can't iron them because they're just too fragile. And the direct contact overlay works very well. You can do it with a padded direct or fine mesh fabric overlay, and you can use acrylic overlays too. And that's the third family of overlays is done with acrylic, padded acrylic.
Jim, Jerry says it's good for damaged flags. Oh, I can see that for damaged flags. Sure, absolutely.
Oh yeah. Here's an example of the mylar used for an encapsulation mount. This is the front of the frame. Yeah. And you might be able to see that there's about an 1/8 inch gap all the way around this document. Can you see light through there?
Do you have glass in the back too? Is that what it is?
Yeah. And then this is the back of it.
Oh, look at that. Okay.
See that?
So how is the document staying in the center and not, going right left? Because I'm assuming your mylar is extended until the mat, right?
Yes.
Is that in the book?
It's in the book.
Tell me what page.
Well, the answer to your question is on page 9. It's right here.
Page 9. Hold on. Let me put you larger here. Okay. Yeah.
Clear polyester film encapsulation mounts work 3 ways. There's all mylar has a curvature, and you want to put the convex sides together so there's a ever so slight pressure in the center. Sure. And also there's a pinching action. You want to place the double-sided tape like here. Yeah. Within a 1/4 of an inch or closer to the edge of the document. And that creates a pinching action, and that probably does more than anything else to hold the document in the center. And then also static electricity plays a big part in this too. Of course, the plastic film is prone to attract static, especially in dry conditions. Of course, that varies with humidity, moisture content in the air. But there is a factor of static charge that also helps to hold something in place. And the mylar is very easy to get. I've been buying it from 888 Manufacturing, Peter Ackerman's place, but all of the conservation suppliers have it. If you want to buy a few sheets or what they call envelopes, you can do that. But I've never used the envelopes as envelopes. They're actually envelopes that you can slip documents and things into, but you can't get the pinching action, and you can't get the convex pressure in the center. You see, about the only benefit you'd have is the static charge. So use 2 sheets of clear film and put them together that way. That's how the encapsulation mount works.
So if somebody wants to get this book, Jim, where do they get it? I put a website up. You want to tell us a little about the website, and tell us whose idea was to help you with that website?
It was Mo's idea to help me with that website, and Mo, it works perfectly.
Nice.
It does everything that we need to do. You got me set up with Square. Everybody knows Square, but probably a lot of the framers who may be watching use Square to process their credit card sales. And that's the company that processes the credit card sales on my website, jimmilleronline.com. And we show the availability of 4 different options. You can buy the printed book, like this, for the direct contact overlays, or you can buy the PDF version of the same book. The content's the same. Yeah. I put a different cover on it. It's got red instead of purple, and there's a PDF border all the way around. That's just to distinguish the PDF from the printed book. But the content in between the covers is all the same. And you can buy the book printed. You can buy the book as a PDF download file, and I will send that to you personally by email. Or you can buy both. And I am surprised at how many framers are buying both, the book and the PDF download. Most of the PDF downloads have gone to our international friends in Australia, the UK. Just this morning, I sent one to a fellow in Vietnam.
That person's in my group. He's in the group. That's pretty cool.
So they're going everywhere. They're going everywhere. And then that's 3 options. And then we have the 4th option, and that is the complete guide to Shadowboxes and object framing objects. This is the book that I wrote in 2008. Good heavens. Has it been that long? Let's see here.
I have that book here too. I have it behind me right here in the box.
Yeah, 2008.
8.
So that's yeah.
Jim, you look a bit different back in 2008.
Yeah. Hey, it's not the years, Mo, it's the miles.
Jim, Mehdi says Jim is a legend, and I'm very lucky to have taken many of his classes. I very much agree with Jim, with Mehdi on that.
Thank you so much for the kind words.
Yeah.
Things like
Jim,
that.
Hey, I appreciate. Say again.
Things like that are important to an old guy.
Keep it coming, Mehdi. Jim, hey, this is great. I appreciate your time. I really appreciate your friendship and sending me this book. This is going to go in my shelf, and the information is awesome. The book is in color, guys, and there's just great illustrations. The text is very descriptive. The illustration is very descriptive. So this is good stuff, Jim. We really appreciate folks like you who pass on their knowledge to the framers like me who want to learn and who are trying to get their stuff together. So it's very nice of folks like you who write these books and pass on the knowledge to everybody else like us.
Well, I'm happy to pass it on. When I was a novice framer in 1988, I received wonderful help from quite a number of framers who were just forthcoming and helpful as they could be. And I always value that.
Yeah.
So I want to be able to help other framers.
That's very kind of you. And I really enjoy it, and I enjoy learning from folks like you. Let's see here.
They pay me a little bit too, but it's not the money.
Right. Yeah, you're right. I mean, when Jim said, "Look, I have this book," I said, "Look, you should put it on a website." And the first thing is I'm trying to analyze what the numbers will be. And I said, "What do you expect to sell?" He told me a number. I was like, "Jim, are you sure you want to do this?"
It's a labor of love. Yes,
exactly. And I respect you for that. Jim is just trying to pass some knowledge to everybody. And this is really good stuff. It's really good stuff.
Well, thank you, Mo.
So there's a question here. Let's see here. What does the question say? Thank you. I've got 2 Hermes in the shop right now. I always research new technique. Oh, I was talking about the scarf. You want to tell us about how you do a scarf? What page was it on? 30 something? 37?
Oh, well, let's see here. Yeah, 30 something.
37. Hold on. Let me put on solo here. Corey, go ahead. Watch this part because Jim was showing me this before we got online.
The closest thing I have in the book to a scarf is this this 30-inch square silk thing from Asia that predates World War I. It was extremely fragile. Now, this was silk that was printed. Actually, I think it was hand painted. It was hand painted silk, and it's fabric backed, and it was very heavily creased. You can see that there are lots of creases in it. How can I show you this?
They got to buy the book to see it, man.
Yeah, you got to buy the book to see it. But even here, you can see the creases in that.
Yeah.
And there was no way that we could iron this because it was just too fragile. There's no way to stitch it because the background fabric was too fragile. It wouldn't support its own weight. So I used a fine mesh fabric overlay on that, and the descriptive information is down the side here. See? And we used an iron to attach the overlay under compression by 20 pounds of weight
Mm-hmm.
to the back of the rigid substrate. Okay, and there's a drawing on the next page that shows a little more how that works.
You know, I'm gonna do my next scarf this way. I think this looks pretty cool.
Yeah, and of course you would have mats if you like.
Yeah.
But this would require a spacer. The
Sure.
only thing in direct contact with the silk with the scarf would be the fine mesh fabric, which
Sure.
is completely inert.
Yeah. Jim, there's one more question. I'm going to let you go after that if that's all right with you. Does the Shadowbox book have the info contained in the DCO book?
Yes, I saw that question. No, not really. There is a little bit of information in there about how to use clear polyester film for mounting objects. And there's just a few points of overlap. Like one of the things I talk about in the direct contact overlay book is mounting playing cards. Where are we here? Like this.
Oh, I see it. Yeah.
Let's see what else. The fine mesh fabric overlay is used for golf balls, tennis balls, baseballs, things like that. I think that's described in here too. So there's a little bit of overlap, but there's a lot more detailed information in the new book
Mm-hmm.
than there is in the old book. And frankly, there's not a great deal of overlap.
Yeah. So, Barb, we got to buy 2 books. Maybe Christmas is coming early to you, Barb. Buy 2 books. There you go. Merry Christmas. Jim, there's one more question or comment. Corey says, and he's back about scarf here. He goes, I get people wanting to top mount their scarves. Oh, you said the top matting is not necessary as in the illustration you showed us, right?
Now, what do you mean by top mounted?
I think he's talking about float.
Well, you can float mount it if you want to.
And then don't have to put a window mat on top of it, right? Just put space.
No, you don't have to, because the scarf would be attached by the overlay wrapped around the rigid substrate, which is padded. And you compress that, you stretch it tight, attach it to the back, and then that mounting, that attached scarf can be the size of the scarf. And then you can attach that to a decorative backing board, which could be a fabric covered thing. And you can even elevate it for a 3-dimensional effect. It gets pretty cool.
That's very cool. Jim, hey, I appreciate your time. This was good. And guys, go to jimmilleronline.com, get the book, and let me know what you think about it. Maybe you can post some of the projects you did. I'm going to do a scarf. The next scarf job comes in, I'm going to try to do a DCO on it.
Give it a go, Mo.
You got it. Jim,
Mo,
thank you
very much.
Good talking to you.
Thank you very much for doing this today. And I want to say I appreciate all of the cooperation I've received over the years from framers who attend the classes and ask their questions. The best friends I've ever had are framers, and I want to keep that up for a long time.
There you go. Barb says, she confirms that. She goes, 2 books it is. Merry Christmas to both of you then.
Thanks again.
Jim, good talking to you. And say hi to Gail. Have a good one. Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.